Hey y'all, and welcome back to part two of Top Tips for GoGo Kids recorded demo with Christy and Lindsay. Now, today I'm sitting down to continue our conversation with the fantastic Lindsay, a GoGo Kid teacher, workshop coach, and Facebook group admin. Lindsay, thank you so much for hanging around to continue this discussion.
Hey, thanks for having me back. I love doing stuff like this and helping teachers succeed. So thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's jump right back into it. We left off last video by talking about the importance of simple language. But in addition to simple language, it's also really important that teachers are using a slower speed of speech, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. A beginner level student needs you to speak slower so they have time to hear and think about the words that are being used. So if you're speaking too quickly, using relaxed pronunciation or connected speech where your words kind of blend together, then your pretend student might have a hard time understanding the lesson. And actually, that's true in a real classroom as well. We want the students to be able to identify and process individual words, so you need to speak more slowly. A good rule of thumb is to speak at about half or three-quarters of your native natural pace. Just don't slow down too much. You still want natural pronunciation. You don't want it to sound broken or unnatural. And if you speak too slowly, it drags the words out and you can accidentally add extra syllables, which creates pronunciation problems.
Absolutely. And another great benefit of talking less and more slowly is that it leaves room for more student output, which is such an important component to classes here at GoGoKid. But much like corrections, encouraging an imaginary student to speak more frequently can feel a little bit awkward. Do you have any great suggestions for this?
I sure do. If you really want to impress GoGoKid and then later parents, make sure that your student is getting a lot of practice speaking. Student output is the reason that we're all here. So, encouraging as much output as possible is a winning strategy. That's what you want to do. Your pretend student should be speaking at least 50% of the time. So make sure that you're having them repeat new words several times and breaking down sentences. You can encourage more output by changing your tone, using funny voices, singing, high, low, anything like that to make repetition fun and interesting. You can even have your props talk to your student and let them repeat the prop. Varying the way that you get the student to repeat is what keeps them engaged and gets them thinking about what they're saying. And it makes you look like a rock star.
Such great suggestions. Thank you, Lindsay. Now, speaking of rock star teachers, one of the most important skills, in my opinion, is the ability to provide effective guidance. So, how can teachers be sure that they are guiding their students well, especially when the student is struggling or not understanding?
Teaching a beginner level student requires a lot of patience and guidance. Beginner level students need extra support to improve their comprehension and their accuracy of speech. Breaking sentences into smaller chunks, clapping out syllables, and counting words with your fingers all help the student gain a better command of new words and sentences. You can also use guidance to help a student perform tasks like clicking, circling, or tracing. A great method is I do, we do, you do. So you can model the activity for the student, then invite them to do it with you. And then finally, encourage the student to complete the activity independently. This method offers adequate support and boosts the student's confidence in their abilities.
I love that advice. In my opinion, guidance is the most important but least frequently discussed skill of online ESL instruction. So, thank you so much for that really practical advice. Now, let's talk about my very favorite class component, props and rewards.
Yes, no online classroom is complete without props that add to a student's interest and understanding of the lesson. You can use things like flashcards, stuffed animals, puppets. Those are great for modeling conversation. You can use pictures from books or toys or pretty much anything around your house. Props help your student learn the language faster and make connections to things they already know. Using a puppet to help model conversation and teach the student dialogue really goes over well in the demo. So this is especially helpful to have as a prop during your demo class. Props are necessary for the recorded demo, so you want to make sure to bring at least 2 types of lesson related props. That will help you shine in the classroom. Rewarding the student's hard work is also essential. Rewards are not only fun, but they help keep the student engaged. They motivate your student. In the demo classroom, of course, the student is pretend, but you can still offer rewards with a lot of enthusiasm. Make it a big deal so that they see that you are all about that positive reinforcement. Using a secondary reward lets your student know that you're proud of them. They are working hard. Your reward doesn't have to be elaborate. It can be something simple like stickers or magnets. You can use drawing rewards or even digital rewards. The most important thing is to be excited and enthusiastic when you're giving the reward to tell your student that you think they're doing a great job.
Exactly. Who doesn't love props and rewards? They just make classes more fun for everyone. Okay, now finally, let's talk a little bit about behavior management. As cute as our GoGo Kids students are, they are still children, which means they can occasionally become distracted or off task. How can teachers best demonstrate their ability to handle these types of situations during their recorded demo?
You're totally right. Students can definitely get distracted sometimes. Keeping a student engaged or re engaging them after they've gotten distracted requires a positive attitude and a little bit of creative thinking. You want to make sure that your redirection techniques are positive and that you're maintaining a fun and interesting classroom experience. Try asking the student to show you the toy or ask the toy a question. Getting your student to actively participate can be as simple as letting their toy learn English too.
Yes, Lindsay, such great advice. It is so important that teachers are approaching these behavior corrections in a really positive way. I can't tell you how many classes I have taught to a student's toy. Okay, now, as a little bit of an added bonus for those viewers who have hung in and have made it this far through our interview, let's give our prospective teachers a few tips on what they should avoid doing during their recorded demo.
Ah, yes, there are definitely a few things to avoid just so you don't fall into common traps that make your first impression less than great. The main things to avoid are looking tired or disorganized. You don't want to look like you aren't well prepared. Looking stiff or using unfriendly body language, showing a lack of interest. Poor IT, low lighting, and any type of digital camera program that has a mirror image. It's already reversed in the system, so you don't need to bring anything except your props, your amazing teaching skills, and your professional classroom setting.
Lindsay, I can't thank you enough for coming and spending some time with me today and offering such helpful, practical advice to all of our prospective teachers out there. I'm sure they have appreciated all of your tips as well.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. I hope that teachers find this helpful not only for passing the demo, but also for helping their referrals pass the demo. It's so great when we can share an opportunity that we love as much as I know you and I love GoGoKid, and then being able to help someone succeed in that opportunity as well.
Yes, it was so much fun. Thank you. Now, for those watching that might not already be members of our official Facebook group, can you let them know the name of that group and what types of posts and information they can find there in the group?
Sure. It's called the GOGOKID group for new and prospective teachers. In the group, you're going to find helpful tips not only for the application process, but just general questions about GOGOKID, but also support for your first few classes, what rewards to use, ideas for props. And of course, there's always, some type of activity or engagement going on. It's just a lot of fun. Our feedback from teachers has been that it's super supportive. It's a great place to learn and grow along with GOGOKID.
Thanks again, Lindsay. I'm going to link that Facebook group down in the description box below. And if you missed part one of this interview series, where we discussed making first impressions, enthusiasm, TPR, corrections, and simple language, I highly encourage you to go back and watch that video as well. That link will also be down in the description box below. Thanks so much for watching. Good luck on your demo, and until next time,
All right. Bye. Happy teaching.
bye, y'all.